Hello and welcome back to the Tuesday Checklist, our weekly fireside chat where we all sit on the sofa and laugh about what we're playing. Except this week, we're inspired by our latest Friday feature about video game dilemmas. We got thinking about classic arguments gamers always end up having. You know, who gets to be player one? Who should have been in goal when we conceded for a fifth time in Rocket League? That kind of thing. Before we begin, make sure you hit that notification bell so you always know when a new Tuesday Checklist goes live. Right, I'm first this week with an argument I've had many a time. So, a video game related argument that I remember having quite a lot, and this used to happen quite a lot when I was younger, and I would have the argument with my parents basically, was when I'd be playing any game and I would have an emotional reaction to the game. Either I would be angry at the game, or I would be, you know, if I'd scored a last minute winner in FIFA or PES or whatever I was playing, I'd be jumping up and down, running around the house like, yes, because, you know, you really get caught up in it. And the thing my mum and dad would always say to me, be like, it's just a game. And that used to drive me insane. Yeah. Like, what are you saying with that? What are you saying with that phrase? It's just a game. Like, just stupid people trying to invalidate the emotions of something that they don't understand, basically. Like, why should the fact that it's a game have any bearing on whether or not you're allowed to react in a certain emotional way to it, for crying out loud? You could say that about anything. You could say, did you cry at that film? It's just a film. What's the matter with you? Why are you feeling emotions at this thing? Oh, do you feel like you're staring at this amazing piece of art? Oh, it's just a picture. It's just a painting. And like I would get.
Who is crying at paintings though?
Yeah.
Stupid.
Honestly, yeah, it's just
that's ridiculous.
Just paper and painting it. Like, God, who cares?
It doesn't even move.
Mona Lisa, like whatever. Anyway, and this would happen a lot if I was watching like actual football as well. You know, I get quite emotionally invested in football games, and you know, my parents again could never really understand why. Yeah. Like, you know, Crystal Palace have got relegated quite a bit. I support Crystal Palace, and you know, they've been relegated quite a few times over the years that I've supported them, and it's devastating when it happens. And I'll be upstairs in my room, you know, crying and inconsolable, and my mum will come in and like, what's the matter with you? And you know, you feel embarrassed even explaining. It's like, oh, Crystal Palace have just gotten ready. Oh, for goodness sake, it's just a game. And you're like, what are you talking about? This means a lot to me. And yeah, it just infuriates me when you get that, it's just a game thing.
Do you know what though, Rob? Do you not feel slightly different as a parent now? Because I would say as a parent, I've seen the reaction, and it's not any reaction. Being invested in games is fine. But when I see an outpouring of like frustration and anger about a game, I think it is worth trying to put that in a context of, do you know what I mean? Because you're never watching a movie and going, I hate this movie!
Yeah. But games are different from movies, aren't they? They elicit,
they
like,
You've obviously never seen
there is
Indiana
no comparison.
Jones
It's not like the game stops, it's not like a movie. There's a brilliant Dara Brian sketch, isn't there? Where he's like, no other medium will punish you and not allow you to go forwards in the thing that you're, just because you know, a movie doesn't say, did you understand all of the things you just saw in that scene? Watch it again. Like, sometimes in a game, you will feel like, you know, there's a frustration there, isn't there? Knowing that the reason you can't get to the bit you want to get is because you don't quite have the necessary skill yet. Yeah. And you feel like, you know, it's you against the game. And it creates like a kind of emotion in you that you don't get in any other kind of medium.
I'm pitching a middle ground between it's just a game, which I don't believe. But I do think it's right to try to encourage people to play games or accept games in the right way.
Yeah.
You know.
What I'm saying is, if I'm seeing my daughter getting frustrated at a game, it would be very hypocritical of me to say, don't have a tantrum at that game, because I still do it now. Like if I lose in FIFA, it's like, you know, I still feel it bubbling up inside. But yeah, people who say it's just a game, shut up.
All right, gaming arguments. This one is so basic, but it's the only one, which I think I'm the only person here who's affected by it. It's the inverted, non-inverting argument, which...
There is no argument.
Well, do you know what I mean?
There's normal, and there's you.
But that's how... I am old enough to remember when default became a thing. default or inverted. No, it's either. I don't like the idea that it's somehow, like you said, that it's somehow normal and then inverted.
Right.
There was a period where everyone was treated fairly, and then there was some kind of tyranny. Yeah, right. That there was sort of a tyranny was imposed upon us.
Yes.
And I feel like it's wrong, and I also feel like I'm completely willing to just go. Some people like it this way, and some people like it this way,
yes.
and I'm happy to let live. But the anger that I see from other people, Dave,
You seem quite angry.
provokes it. I am now with you. and it came a lot from, I don't know why, Dave, it seems like you and I in particular, maybe from one-on-onesy, like where we'd be in the controls of a game, but
You have
also...
to pass the padlocks, don't you? Not often.
Yes.
Right, yeah, in various scenarios.
Nightmare.
Sometimes streaming, and even whenever the audience and the viewers get like a little bit of a sniff of the idea that behind the scenes we're having to like change the settings, it's like, oh, dirty inverter, oh, dirty inverter. And I don't know if we want to go back to basics, and I still think that I am right about it. And there's two ways. And I was thinking,
right and wrong, is there?
I think I have a mixture of both sometimes.
I have
don't
a
know.
mixture of both.
It depends on the game.
you don't have a mixture of.
It's
I'm
like
angry with.
when you used to have games that did do a mix of both, like they would invert the y-axis but not the x. That's
Right.
when it's bad. Either invert it or...
No,
You've
no one's
gone
inverting
crazy.
The x-axis.
Why would you invert the
mentalist.
x-axis?
What are you talking about?
If you had like an analog stick on the back of your head in some sort of nightmarish futuristic vision, if you looked up, you would pull that stick down to look upwards,
Yeah.
right? And it's the same with a gun. Like if I had a gun and my aim is my view is going up, sure, but the gun itself, the back of the gun is coming down.
I mean,
the gun's coming
you
down.
just said that you want to be treated equally.
The gun's
now you're
coming
trying
down.
to prove that you're always the better way.
I'm
so
just
I don't
explaining, but then actually what Rob said about going left and right is also true of the head or the gun.
Yes.
I should be going the other, and I don't do that. Let's all agree. No, my real problem is that it's obviously an argument I've had, and I've been through all of these sort of logistics with people before. But my real point is, let's just let people do what feels comfortable and right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
So
can we all agree that the way it is, non-inverted, can be default?
No.
So that I don't have to enter the menu.
I think that they should ban the word default from menu. Because
That's
people
fine.
obviously...
They don't have to call it non-inverted, but they have to decide
This is a new argument now.
When you start a game for the first time, they have to decide.
Quite a few games now will have, like, when they're showing you the camera controls, they'll just ask you to look up. And
Right.
whatever you do to look up, the game will automatically adapt to
I
that control
remember
system
the first
without-
time that happened to me.
without telling
Yeah.
you whether it's default or inverted, which I
Yeah.
quite like.
I
I
think
always
that's
worry that
so-
I'm going to accidentally press the wrong way, though.
What,
and
you
then
go
it'll be
left?
like, oh,
Look up.
inverted.
No, I want to look left.
Yeah, I always do genuinely worry. I don't know why.
I know, yeah. Do you want me to do what I want to do, or
Yeah.
what you think I should? What?
Yeah.
No, I just think, stop scapegoating me, is what I'm
Right.
saying. Just get off my
And you're
back.
kind.
Yeah.
Right, I'm actually quite excited to talk about my argument because I feel very confident that I'm right. And I think, Nath, you will come down on my side of the argument.
We'll see.
I'm not sure about you, Rosie, and I think, Rob, you might be on the other side of the argument. I think we may have had the argument. And the argument is this, that there is such a thing, or not that there is such a thing, but that it's
You've
hard
had
for
so
me
long to
say.
think about this.
For God's sake, Dave.
I don't want to
Spit
use
it out.
I don't want to use the term because the term suggests that it is wrong. But I'll use the term, even though I don't agree with it, that there is such a thing, or that it is wrong to screen cheat, and there isn't. There isn't. What are you thinking about? You're a big screen cheat. Yeah. That's right, just like me. I believe that there is no such thing as screen cheating. There is looking at other people's screens and using that information to your advantage. But I would argue correctly that that is a skill. That is an incredible skill. When playing a local multiplayer game, you've got to use all. What am I going to just like ignore all the information that's going on around me? Of course, if my eye catches sight of like Rob's screen by a big red barrel, then I'm going to know Rob's by that big red barrel. And maybe if I throw a grenade over there, the barrel will explode and he'll die. And I think that that is using that is, if you're not into that, then you shouldn't play local.
So like you did hide and seek, basically, you know where they're hiding, defeating the whole point of
Well,
seeking.
I would agree, maybe hide and seek, that would be a silly game to play local. I mean, that I would suggest.
You can't do it, just ignore the other players entire screen. Just focus purely
You can absolutely.
Yeah.
I know that it is possible, but I think that people who argue this, they're not going, oh, I'm just ignoring the other screen. They're just like, they can't use their peripheral vision, or they don't think to look at other people's screens. If you ever play a game with 3 other players who know the game as well as you, though, it's incredible and very intense. I played an immense game of Capture the Flag once where I had to just literally was walking around the map looking at my shoes the whole time. So as like no one else could tell exactly.
Is that how the game was intended to be played?
I mean, maybe that fun. It lasted about 2 hours, but it was.
You all know the game so well.
Yeah, everybody was.
Navigate the map while looking at your feet.
Everybody, yeah, exactly. Occasionally, you'd have to like quickly yes. So and in fact, there is a game called Screen Cheat, which
game.
Nathan and I have played, which is really good. The idea being that your player character is completely invisible. All player characters are invisible, so you have to look at the other screens to try and figure out where people are.
Otherwise
it's a
you can't
shooter.
aim at them.
It's really good fun. But if you don't screen cheat, I hate that. We should just have another screen share. If you don't screen share, then it's not the game for you. But yes, it's excellent.
Screen peek.
Screen peek. Oh, that's very good, Rob. Yes, screen peek. So I am a screen peeker. I'm proud. I think it's
Proud screen peeker.
I'm proud to screen
you're in a
peek.
support
I think it's a
group.
skill.
Like a clan. Screen peekers.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a skill, and
Get t-shirts made.
yeah, and I think if you're not, then you A, can't be angry at people who are, and B, maybe should consider
Getting good.
not playing not playing
you have
local
convinced me with
multiplayer.
your argument. You have convinced me.
Is that right?
Fair. It is fair, yeah.
I don't know. You're a pushover.
I'm not a pushover. You're a pushover.
I am a pushover. Yeah.
An argument that I've had, when I was a kid, I had this argument an awful lot, but I don't have it nowadays anymore because I don't live with my brother. I have a typical younger sibling argument of who gets the first save slot.
Ooh.
Now, I had this all the time with my brother. When we first had PlayStation 1 games and stuff, we shared games, or my dad owned them and then we just played them.
Yeah.
So I always accepted I was just the younger one, so I'd pop in once he played the game first. I was always player 2. I was happy with that. I was content with player 2 and I was happy. But then I got to an age where I wanted my own video games. And I remember the first game that I had, which I could fully claim that was mine, it was my birthday present, was Sonic Heroes for the PlayStation 2, which I was very excited about because I had a shiny text on the cover and everything. But it was great.
Extra special.
Extra special. Has a game done it since? Probably yes, but I remember we hit the point, so I had the game, I really wanted to play it, it was my game, and my brother was like, oh, I'm gonna play it. I said, no, you're not. It's my game. I get to play it first. He was like, well, no. And I get to play it first. I'm the older sibling. I can't fully remember his arguments, but it ended up...
Sounds like he didn't have one.
He had no reason. He just knew that he was better than me. So we had this argument for a bit. And then I remember he ended up playing the game first. Woe is me.
Your birthday present?
He did.
What?
And he took...
Where were your parents, Rosie, when this was happening? Intervening.
downstairs for having a jolly old
They
time
were still
without...
in game, just wandering around.
So when he took the first save slot, it was the first time where I was like, I don't believe this. It was the first time where I really strongly believed that I deserved that first, on the memory card, I should have been save slot number 1. And then it got even worse because since at the time he was better at games than I was, he got more Chaos Emeralds, he had more A ranks on the stages, and I was there in my little save slot number 2.
You should have overwritten his save, Rosie.
Well-
I'm incensed on your behalf.
The thing is, he still remembers that he took this player 1 slot because even today he'll just be like, oh yeah, my sister, she still has a grudge, and I do. That was my game. I do.
He's right, I do.
That PS2 memory card, I should have had save slot number 1, so I remember because it's available on PS3 as well in the PS2 section, when I got that game, I was like, yes! That is my save slot, and it's still there, and it's my pride and joy because Sonic Heroes was my game. And I remember, ever since then, if I had a game, I'd always make sure that I tried to get it. I think though, Kingdom Hearts 2, I remember having the first save on, which I was very happy about. But yeah, and then sadly, as life progressed, I got a bit more kind of, like everyone, like, oh, me and my brother, we play video games. Sometimes I play them first, sometimes he does, and it didn't matter as much.
That family doesn't exist. What are you talking about?
So what you're saying is, sadly, you stopped fighting about these things. That's
Yeah.
not sad. That's good. It sounds like there was a lot of casualties on both sides in this war, to be fair.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I usually just accepted that I was the younger sibling, so that like I said, I was humble player 2. So I always accepted that everything for me was number 2. I had save slot number 2. I was player number 2. I used to play games second, but he used to play it first, even if it was my game. So
That is
It's
injustice.
an outrage.
if my brother is listening to this, you still know, and you still hold it against me.
Still got that grudge.
Still got that grudge.
We're
now.
all with you, Rosie. We're
Are
with
you?
you.
That's
All
the
right.
cool now.
Thank
Yeah.
you guys, you've got my back.
Yeah,
Thank you.
big time.
And the joystick, you pull it down to go up. So when I'm flying a plane, I do that, and when I'm playing a shooter, I'm also doing that. I've also heard it explained as.
Look, no one's right and no one's wrong. Except you, Nathan, you're wrong. Let us know in the comments if you've ever had one of these arguments, or tell us if you can think of any we've missed. Give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and hit the notification bell so you're always up to date with all our videos. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.
For the players.